Hello, my name is Debbie, Owl and Gator Stitcher. Welcome to Flosstube number 41. Today is Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. This is a video mainly about cross stitch, sometimes about what I'm reading and watching and life thrown in. But today, I don't really have any reading or watching recommendations. I've kind of been in a rut in the month of September with that, but hopefully October will be a better month. So welcome if you're new here. I hope that you would like what you see and click on that subscribe button if you do. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and for all the comments that you leave me. It's really great to interact with everyone, and I really enjoy all of the inspiration that you give me and motivation to pick up pieces that maybe I haven't thought about in a while. And it's just really great to interact with all of you. So, and I also want to thank people who took the time to comment. I did make I gave an honest review of a retreat that I attended, and my goal is never to disparage anyone. The designers and the organizers put a lot of work into that retreat, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the best retreat for me. And as I'm starting to go on retreats, I'm starting to learn what works for me and what doesn't. And I think for me, retreats really are about having a chance to interact with other stitchers. I do have a couple of stitchy people in my town, but it's great to have a lot of people and just sort of be able to share our passion in person with people who love this craft. I hope that I will have a chance to meet some of you. I know my next retreat is in November, and I know a couple people have commented that they're attending, and I really look forward to meeting you if I haven't already met you. And that retreat is going to be very different. It's going to be a smaller retreat, and as far as I'm aware, there aren't any guest designers. If they are, it'll be a surprise. It's really just a chance for people who love stitching to get together and just have a weekend of stitching and spending time together and getting to know each other better. So with that, I think most of you know I am in Florida, and Hurricane Ian is bearing down on us. I live in northern Florida, and right now the current projection is where Ian will cross hit coastline, and then cross the state. So I am 50 miles inland, so I never have to worry about like storm surge or anything like that for me personally. And now where it looks like the eye will cross the state is further south than, it's about 100 miles south of where I am. So, or it looks like it's going to hit Orlando. So those of you who are Disney fans, sorry, the parks may have some issues. And it is right now projected, I think, to either be a Cat 4 or Cat 5 storm when it makes landfall. So it is quite serious. And so if you or your loved ones are in the path of the storm, you are my thoughts. And I really hope that you weather the storm with minimal damage. Our concern here, we are going to get a lot of rain. They estimate we could get up to a foot of rain. And again, if the storm turns or we will get some wind, and just, we've prepared, but there's, we've pulled in things. We've got water and food and all of that, and we're prepared. But we're not leaving. We're not at in imminent danger. Probably will lose power, which was part of my incentive of filming today, because if we lose power, things will just take a long time to get back on track, because obviously you don't want the linemen out there working while there's still high winds. So once we lose power, that's it. And we don't lose power that often. The lines in our neighborhood are buried. So it's only the main transmission lines. And because they are main transmissions lines, they do tend to go out and get those repaired quite quickly. But obviously they need to do it when it's safe for them to do so. So if we lose power earlier in the storm, we may be 12 hours without power, which, whatever. I will get grumpy, but I will be fine. I just really, my concern is for people who are further south, and especially in like the Naples, Fort Myers, Sarasota area. It was originally supposed to make a direct hit on Tampa Bay area, but now it looks like it'll be a little bit further south. But for everyone in those areas, you are my thoughts, and I wish the best for you. With that, let me go ahead and start showing you all my stitching. So I had a new start. I am participating in the No New Starts group, but I earned a new start when I finished a small a few months ago. And I just hadn't started a new small because if you watch my videos, you know I love big things. And so the small things tend not to get started as much. But I had this really cute one. And this was printed a long time ago, and it is horrible color, and my printer is now on the fritz again. So I just going to show you. Clearly my magenta was not working when I printed this probably 2 years ago. This is the special ingredient is love, and then it says, just kidding, it's cat hair, which I love to bake, and I love cats, and there probably is a lot of cat hair in things I bake, not deliberately, but, and my cats are not allowed on the counter, and they know it, but cat hair floats around. So anyhow, so colors on this are all wrong, and you'll see that, and here is where I got on my start. So I got special ingredient and then the word love. And you can see this is red. This is, it's either a 16 or 18 count aida. It was something I had in my stash. It's sort of an ornament cut. So it's a little bit, it was a good piece to fit on this. And I did have to, as a result of sort of doing this a little bit sort of taupey colored, I did darken some of the letters a little bit. I think this was supposed to be 519 and I pulled out 518, something like that, just to make it a little bit darker so it would show up a little bit better on this fabric. So that is my new start. So I have to say it was one of those things. I'm doing no new starts, and sometimes I get an itch for new starts, and then I did 2 earlier this month, and then this was my 3rd one, and this sat for a long time. I wasn't dying to start anything, but then Kristen from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, and she also has the Stitching Book Club, she posted recently something. She had gone home to Montana, and she just had this beautiful thing, and she was talking about stitching, and I love her designs. I've done quite a few of them from the Stitching Book Club series. This one I think was designed before the book club started, and I really like her designs, and I knew I had this one, so I went ahead and started stitching on that one. So the next piece I'm going to show you, so now I'm getting into everything big. This is Magic Study by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Rose Kahn. This is the rainbow version. And I can't remember if I showed this in my last video or not, but I've put in this month about 2,000 stitches. Most of it blue, so sort of built up a little bit here. This line coming down here, so this sort of bright turquoise blue, I did quite a bit in there. And then this spot was just killing me, so I had to fill in. I don't know what that is. If it is a moth, if it is a dragon, if it is a butterfly, you decide. If you're stitching it, let me know what your opinion is. To me, it looks either like a moth or a butterfly, except then there are little flying dragons about this size all over the design. So I'm just wondering if it's a dragon and it's just not showing up like a little baby dragon. But it was nice to get some of the red in and just to get some of these other colors done. This is not a max color, so it's probably got somewhere between 80 and 90 colors. You always wonder how many shades of blue can there be, and I feel like I've stitched them all that are not light blue, but sort of that royal blue, 797, 798, that area. I feel like I pulled out all of those, and then all of a sudden you get like 158. It's like, wait, this is I didn't even know there could be more blues. So anyhow, I love stitching on this. It's a very easy stitch for me. Obviously, it's really big. You can see all the fabric here. Probably don't quite need all this fabric, but I didn't bother to cut it down. But I'm really enjoying stitching on this one. And again, Magic Study. And then the next piece, which is by far my largest piece, this is the Grand Library. Excuse me. Artwork by Aimee Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I made a decision to start here in the lower left-hand corner because this part of the design is what interested me the most. And thank you for those who are saying, you're young, you'll get it done in your lifetime. Thank you. I'm glad you have confidence in me. But I am literally down in here. And what I have to show you is not very interesting. And this is the supersized max color version. So basically, I pulled in, it's dark browns and 939. So obviously I'm starting to build up. So this is a shelf here. And now what you are starting to see, this negative space here are the pages of a book. So this darkness is sort of this is around the book. And I think this is, if you have an open book, not the spine, but the inside where the spine would be. And so just building around. So I'm trying really hard because this is 25 count, which is not the easiest thing for me to count on. So I really don't want to be making mistakes. So rather than sort of picking a color and color completing all the way across within the Q-snap area, I'm trying to pick colors that, like if I see a ninja stitch, going in, doing that, and then as that color appears that I can easily count off, I'm doing it. So like that's why, like, and it does look a little bit weird here. That's the 939 because there was a row of 939 in here. And I'm going to try and do it that way. If it drives me crazy, I'll start stitching it another way. But this is 25 count, as I said, and I find frogging on 25 count very, very difficult. Even the jump between frogging on 22 count versus 25 count for me feels really huge. So anyhow, this is again the Grand Library. Not really looking like much of anything at this point. The next piece I want to show you, again, this is Three Dancers from Stitching Jules Designs. So I just love the color in this image of sort of the light coming in behind the dancers that, you can sort of see the curtain here and stuff. And Stitching Jules asked for people who have smaller Flosstube channels if they were willing to stitch some of her designs. And so she gave us the design itself for free. We provided all the materials. I gave her a choice of a few things, and this is the one she asked me to stitch, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the colors on it. And it's also quite small for it is full coverage, but it's about 26,000 stitches. And so, I work on the Grand Library and I put in 1,000 stitches, and I think that's like a bit over 0.01%. Yeah, something like that. So, maybe a little bit more, but 7,000 stitches is 1% on that. This I do, 1,000 stitches, and it's like 4% done. So this is actually almost 5% done. So I've just been, again, this is 18 count, so it's much bigger, how to put it? It's much easier for me. It's very easy stitching. When there's a rogue stitch, I can easily see it. I can easily count it. But I have decided I am going to try and pick up some of the rogue stitches and within this sort of area, stitch it. So you can see the difference though already. Down here is about the halfway point going down, and somewhere right about here is the halfway point going across. So I think that gives you a perspective on how small this design actually is. And for those of you who thought you might want to dabble in full coverage, but you think you would never get one done, I encourage you to look at some of her designs. She does have some bigger ones, but she also has some smaller ones. So this is even smaller than a lot of the quick stitches that you get from Heaven and Earth Designs. And this one, I love it because the color is just popping. And I'm using colors that I don't use frequently in the other designs. So it's nice to have a chance to pull out some of the oranges and yellows and other things that I don't use often. And because it's coming into fall, again, I'm in Florida, so we don't really get the glorious colors that you might get in New England. But still like working with these colors, and I'm going to say something controversial here. They remind me of candy corn, and I love candy corn. So sorry if you don't like it. Love it. Love it. I love sweet things. So anyhow, but this has been a lot of fun to stitch on. And because I love dancers, I'll show you my next one. Totally different color palette, different everything, but another one I worked on a little bit was the Green Dancer, artwork by Edgar Degas. And this was charted by Artecy. And this is one, again, relatively small for what it is, for the design. And this is where I am now. So right about here is the halfway point. So I have, I'm not quite halfway done with it, but I'm making, whenever I pull it out, again, this one is a paper pattern. The Three Dancers I'm doing on Pattern Keeper. This is a paper pattern, so it just takes me a little bit more time. And there is not a huge, I want to say, let me see if I can see it here. 52 colors. So it's not, overwhelming number of colors in it, but because the way that they're placed, there are a lot of rogue ninja stitches in it. And so what I've been slowly doing is sort of picking up some of this. So like you can see, like you can still see a lot of them, but I've been trying to pick up those colors and fill them in, especially like I had some over here in this dancer on the side here. Just trying to pick them up and put them in. And this time I chose to work on it in a hoop as opposed to my Q-snap. By using 11 by 11 Q-snap, I can actually get the whole width of this design in. But I was doing it with the hoop, and so just like wherever that color appeared in my hoop, but because it's not Pattern Keeper, it's a paper pattern, I often miss a symbol. It's not easy for me to find it. So it just takes a while longer for me to do it. And, I think I will have completed a color, and then, maybe I think I've completed a color here, and I've done it in this area, and all of a sudden I'll move on to the next color, and then I'll see I missed a stitch somewhere. So it just is slow going, but I do love the way this one looks as well. So when I do pull it out, I enjoy working on it, but it has to be in smaller chunks because it is slow going. So that is Green Dancer. And then the next piece I want to show you, this is Huckleberry Farm from the Blue Flower. So I adore this piece. And I am doing it. It's I do, by the way, in the description box, I put everything down below. But this one I do want to comment on the fabric because I get so many questions about it. So I'll just say it in the video as well. So here's where I am. This is 32 count linen from Picture This Plus, colorway Whimsey. And the picture on the cover sort of has its shale, which is the fabric that she used, but it has a purplish tinge to it. And the shale I got doesn't really have much of a purple tinge. So I don't know if it's the dye lot or it's just the photo. But I decided to go, the shale I had wasn't really the right size for this. And so it was I would have had really tight borders. So I just decided to go a totally different way. And I do love the way it is looking on this sort of lilac color. So anyhow, what I did this time, I put in about 600 stitches in this since I've last shown it. And I did finally finish, like I had some of the berries here. So whatever berries I needed to finish up here, and then I put them down here. And then every berry needed one stitch of white, which you can kind of see in the middle there. Not quite white, but a whitish color. So I did that. And I think I had some part of these flowers done, and then I came and filled in the rest of those flowers. And then I don't even know what these things are down here, but this little design here also worked on the alphabet a little bit more. And then it's going to say, it says one for me, one for the basket. And then I also finished this little pinwheel. I am still not done with page one. Done a little bit more on the adjacent pages, but there's still, I think for page one, another little pinwheel here, different colors in this one, and sort of some of the stuff down here. So this one, I think I've said this before, is a little bit slow going for me because it is linen. And even though it's 32 count, I do have to do some of the magnifier, so it just takes me a little bit more time. And especially, I think, with the stitches that I was doing, having to do one. And I did carry a little bit on the back, but I didn't want to carry really far. So I made a decision to do that. You can kind of see it. It's not really showing up on the camera, but I did do the D in a different color than the other letters of the alphabet because for my initial. So it's actually the same color as the one for me, one for the basket. It's really not showing up on the camera. And now my camera lighting is really freaked out. It's quite dark outside. We are starting to get some of the rain from the storm system, but it's just light rain. It's not heavy rain. But it's been really dark and overcast all day. So anyhow, I'm just going to keep showing it because I really love the blue flower. And all of you who went to the Northwest Stitch Summit and got to meet both Janine McGowan and Lindy Stitches. I am a little bit jealous because they are two of my favorite designers. Okay, the next one I worked on, this is Mother of Dragons by Paine Free Crafts. And this is definitely one that is slow going for me. And combination of, it's a paper pattern and it's a combination of what I'm stitching right now is not very interesting. So here's everything that I have done so far. Basically, I was working in here mostly just to get some of the wall done, and maybe a little bit this. So what you kind of are looking at here. So this is the wall. This is some sort of decorative. It's not a column because I think it's just on the wall. So some decorative piece on the wall, and then this is an archway. This is one of the wings of the dragon, and then his body and head is down here, and then this is another wing. So I did a little bit on the wing here, and my original plan was to finish this page and then go down and work on the body of the dragon because I really want to see something pop out. But I think, so I put in probably about 1,400 stitches this month into this. And I was just getting so bored. And so I've just said, you know what, I'm going to just, next time I pick this up, I'm just going to move down and start stitching on something because I don't normally mind doing background. But when you do 3 pages and that is basically like even part of the main focus and you can't even really tell what that is, I need something to sort of help motivate me continue with this. Daenerys is over here, but I think I would have like 2 more pages before I even get to her. And I just need something. And I don't want to have to count all the way over there. So anyhow, so I think that's my plan next time to go. Paine Free Crafts is a wonderful company. So I trust that when I get down there, I'm going to see something. But right now, I'm not seeing much. So, and the next one is one that many of you like, one of your favorites. This is Artecy Old World Map. This is my second Whip Go draw for the month. The first one was Mother of Dragons. And so I continued to work on this. And so this is the North Pole here. And basically what I was doing was working on, so I realized I had a few rogue stitches. I keep calling them rogue stitches, ninja stitches in this part here. So I was pulling colors and then doing that. But mostly what I did was this. I keep looking at the map. I can't tell if this is Asia or Europe up there. This is clearly like North America. Part of me was like, well, is this Europe? Because, this kind of looks like Scandinavia here, Norway and Sweden. And then this would make this Northern Russia, but and then this is the Pacific. But I can't tell, like, when I look at the map here, this is the Eastern Hemisphere, like the colors here match, but then this part goes further north. I can't tell. Just decided it's an old map. Doesn't mean that it's accurate. So probably means that it's less accurate than it should be. So I'm having fun stitching it. That's the key thing. And I would say places I'm not going to go, but they're places I actually have been. I have certainly in Europe, I lived in Norway for 2 years, and I did at one point go to Kirkenes, which is in very northern Norway. And that is north of the Arctic Circle. And so I was like, bucket list check. But I'm not a cold weather person. And so it's not, I don't have the desire to do an expedition to the North Pole, let's put it that way. And my husband and I are talking about doing a trip to Canada at some point, and that will be done probably in June or July when it's a little bit warmer. And I want to go see things in Canada, and it'd be great to go in June and July when there's a lot of light. But anyhow, that's a total aside. So anyhow, I did a lot on Asia, so I think or Europe or whatever this is, the northern Eastern Hemisphere. I did a lot of that. So there are still some rogue stitches left to do in this continent, but was able to get, it looks a lot brighter, and a lot of the latitudinal and longitudinal lines were put in. So this section, not entirely done, but it's getting closer. So I just have to decide next time I really start getting a focus on this. Do I want to finish out all the rogue stitches in here? Am I getting bored? Or do I want to start moving here and finishing sort of the ocean section and start working my way across the top? I have that decision to make. I don't know, don't have any imminent plans to work on it, but I do enjoy working on this. So sometimes I just want to pick it up and work on it. And I don't necessarily need to say I'm doing it for this reason, except that I want to. So that is Old World Map. And then the last piece I have to show you, again, I show this almost every video. This is Cats in the Toy Box, artwork by Lesley Anne Ivory. And this is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So this is my real focus piece. And my goal this year was to get to 70%. I'm about 65.5% done with this. And so things can happen and I might not reach that, but that, given I'm putting about at least 3,000 stitches a month. I've done up to 6,000 stitches a month on this. And that's so 3,000 stitches is a little over 2%. So, and there's 3 months left in the year. So you do the math. That means I would get at least 6% done, a little bit more. That takes me to 71%. So again, stay on that track. I should get it. Who knows what December will bring when I can go hog wild and do whatever I want. So who knows if I will continue to focus on this in December. So, but I pulled it out of the Q snap because I am going to move the Q snap at that point. So I just thought this would be a great chance to show you where I am. So this is an 18 count Aida. So it is quite large, but not maybe as big as, it only is about, only 141,000 stitches. So it is still a very large piece. But not nearly as large as a lot of the Heaven and Earth designs. So here's just, I'm going to roll this again because I enjoy doing this because I love this piece. I wouldn't make it my focus piece if I didn't love it. And then let me sort of show you what I worked on. Much easier to do this when you have it in a Q snap, I have to say. Oops. So basically I was working in this area. So I did a lot of work on the two teddy bears here. You can see the little bear is now getting really defined. Obviously finished off the head of the big bear and pulled down the border here. You can also start to see this is the carpet on the floor, and I'm stitching these things going, what am I doing here? Because a lot of the colors here are also in the sleeve of the clown. And I'm like, what am I pulling? And then I realized these are some of the figures on the carpet. So you can see it's got this carpet with like an Asian carpet or something. And so these things are the figures are starting to come out. So really enjoy working on this. Part of me says, go down, because I think one more move of the Q snap will enable me to get to the bottom. And that will be fun to hit another corner on this. And then there's a part of me that says, but what if you make a mistake? I will deal with it. The bottom is probably relatively easy to take a line out if I really made a mistake or add a line in. So I probably will go down, but then there's also a part of me that's like, no, be good and start working on that kitty over there. Complete that kitty. Haven't decided yet. May or may not work on this tonight. I assume I will still have power tonight, but I may work on my Jaguar, which I'm not even showing you today because I don't think I've put much, if any, work since my last video. And I really do want to finish that one this year. So I don't have that to show you. My plans for October. So I have 4 focus pieces. I didn't pull them out, partially because I was looking for one and I couldn't find it and I was getting frustrated. But WIPGO has been called. So one of the pieces for that is Anzac. I think many of you are familiar with Anzac. The other one was one of my sort of fun things that I put in for myself, which was full coverage, longest not touched. So I have probably 12 or 13 full coverages on the go right now. And I am pretty sure it is one called Tug of War, which is a Mystic Stitch. And that one I'm also mired in the background and it's a paper pattern. I don't know where it's here. Like, I don't take it anywhere, so I know it's in one or two places, but I think I just need to go through. I think it's gotten tucked under something, so I need to do a little bit more of a search. But I wanted to get this video recorded, and so I'm like, I'm not really pulling everything out and doing a massive search at this moment. And so, but if that for some reason continues to hide, and I probably do need to go through my notes, or if my notes actually say a different one is one that I need to work on. It could be another Mystic Stitch called Oak Drive. One of those two will be my other WIPGO call. And then I also have Letters of the Month. One of them is Evening Romance. I did a lot of work on that in August. I'm like, what month are we in? I did it in August. So that one will come back out. And then my F, I'm going to get really close to you here. See what my F one is. Oh, Aria by Firelight, which is Tilton Crafts. I would say one of the Evening Romance and then whatever my Longest Full Coverage Not Touched are both paper patterns. And I, not really, again, I struggle with them. And so we'll see. I so far have completed all my goals on both of those. But I think this frustration of not wanting to pile those on makes me sort of convinced for my plans next year that I probably will not do, certainly won't do WIPGO and I may not do Letters of the Month. And it's not, I still need to think through my plans, and I really do want to do another planning video and talk about what my plans are for next year. But anyhow, just sort of, if something doesn't make me excited to stitch on it, I'm forcing myself to stitch on it because I'm completionist and I want to get a blackout, but in WIPGO. But sometimes, like, I'm forcing myself, and I probably would be happy to work on something else. I love all my projects. I'm not going. I've mentioned this a few videos ago. I learned to stitch quite young. Did it for a few years, and then when I was in high school, I stopped stitching. And after a couple of years, I had a project that I was working on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to stitch again. And I cleaned out and threw it away. And then I started stitching in college, and basically have never stopped. The project that I threw away were zebras, and those zebras still haunt me 30 plus years later. So even if I said for a project for a while, I'm not going to work on you, I'm not throwing it away because I can't have more zebras haunting my life. Just saying. And I do like all my projects. I don't necessarily like the medium that I've chosen, that I selected, which is the paper patterns on full coverage. I'll do paper pattern, like Huckleberry Farm is a paper pattern. I'm totally fine following that. Mirabilia, I wish I could have it on, Pattern Keeper. I haven't figured out how to do the whole picture and import your own PDF and all that. I haven't figured that part out yet for Pattern Keeper, but that's a bridge I will cross when I come to it. But nonetheless, I am totally rambling now. So anyhow, those are the 4 projects that I have planned that I know I'm going to work on, and we'll see what else some of my challenge groups present to me. So I am enjoying my challenge groups. I sometimes think that I've bitten off a little bit more than I chew, and then I drop out of some of them, and then I start missing them, and I want to jump back in. So I do I love stitching, and I have the time to stitch now. So the challenge groups sometimes just help me decide when I'm going to stitch. The last thing I have to show you is I don't really have much haul, but I did win a giveaway from Annabella's. And so Elaine owns Annabella's, and she basically was an Etsy store for a while, and she actually is opening up her cross-stitch store, needlework store in North Carolina. She was based in Florida. She moved permanently to North Carolina a couple months ago, and so she's now opening up a store there. But she does on her videos, I think she does almost every video she does a giveaway. So this is what I won. And so it's called Flower Patch, and it's from, I think, Little Stitch Girl. So it's just a little pattern, a little cute pattern. So thank you, Elaine. I enjoyed I enjoy watching her videos. So that is all I have to show you. This is one of my shorter videos, but I'm watching it get darker and darker out there. And literally, don't worry about me. We will be fine. Again, I can handle being grumpy. We've got plenty of water and food. Our cats, we got whatever our cats need. We'll be fine. But keep people on sort of Central Florida and further south, especially on the Gulf Coast, keep them in your thoughts, because they are the ones who are, going to get hit really hard by this storm. So with all that said, I wish everyone well, happy stitching, and I hope to be back in a couple of weeks. Bye.